Long ago, in ancient Greece, there lived a king named Tantalus. He was a man of unique lineage, the son of Zeus, the all-powerful king of the gods, and Eurynome, a charming Oceanid. This divine and mortal heritage made Tantalus an exceptional figure in his time, respected by gods and humans. King Tantalus enjoyed a special status. He possessed a natural charisma and wisdom that set him apart from mortals. His palace, located in the mountains of Lydia, was a place of splendor and wealth, where lavish banquets that rivaled those of Olympus were often held. The gods, impressed by his nobility and hospitality, frequently invited him to Olympus. On these occasions, Tantalus sat alongside deities such as Hermes, Aphrodite, and Zeus, participating in their debates and feasts. During these celestial events, he would share stories of his adventures and listen attentively to the tales of the gods, earning their affection and respect. Tantalus' relationship with the gods was unique, a friendship based on mutual respect. They admired his courage and his ability to rule his kingdom with justice. They even trusted him with divine secrets, an honor rarely bestowed on a mortal. Tantalus' elevated position among mortals and his proximity to the gods was both a blessing and his undoing. Respected and favored by the deities, he began to cultivate in his heart an inordinate hubris, that disproportionate pride and arrogance that often precedes the fall. His unprecedented access to Olympus granted him privileges and planted in him a perverse curiosity and a desire to defy the limits imposed on mortals. Driven by this hubris, Tantalus hatched a nefarious plan. His mind, darkened by arrogance, plotted a challenge against the gods themselves to put their omniscience to the test. The target of his audacious and terrible scheme was none other than his son, Pelops, an innocent victim of paternal vanity. In his palace, Tantalus prepared a macabre banquet. With chilling precision, he sacrificed Pelops and transformed him into the feast's main course. This act transgressed the most sacred principles of hospitality and fatherhood, a direct challenge not only to the norms of society but also to the gods themselves. The banquet hall became a scene of suspense and horror. As Tantalus served the meal, his gaze slid among the gods, searching for signs of ignorance or bewilderment. This act, he believed, would be his greatest triumph, a demonstration of human cunning that would surpass divine wisdom. The feast on Olympus, which promised to be a show of hospitality from Tantalus to the gods, turned into a moment of horror and revelation. The gods, endowed with keen perception and profound knowledge, quickly recognized the macabre truth behind the banquet. The meal that had been presented to them, far from being a gesture of generosity, was a horrendous act. Tantalus had murdered and cooked his son, Pelops, and served him to the gods. This action was a crime against his blood and a flagrant insult to the gods themselves, a mockery of their authority and wisdom. The reaction of the gods was one of indignation and disgust. These beings, who often regarded Tantalus with some affection because of his divine lineage, now saw their trust betrayed in the vilest way. Not only had Tantalus committed an unforgivable murder, but he had also attempted to implicate the gods in his misdeed. Among the gods, Zeus, Tantalus' father, was profoundly affected and angry. As Olympus's leader and authority figure, his judgment was awaited with great expectation. As the other gods watched, Zeus rose to pronounce Tantalus' fate. But before addressing Tantalus' punishment, Zeus turned his attention to the victim of this horrendous crime. Pelops was miraculously rebuilt and brought back to life by the gods. Where his shoulder had been eaten away, a piece of ivory now shone, testimony to his tragedy and resurrection. Once Pelops was restored, Zeus turned his attention to Tantalus. The punishment for the mortal king was decided. He would be exiled from Olympus and condemned to unimaginable punishment in Tartarus. After his ungodly act, Tantalus was taken to Tartarus, the darkest and deepest region of the underworld, reserved for those who had gravely offended the gods. There, his punishment reflected the gravity of his crime, a torment explicitly designed for him. In Tartarus, Tantalus found himself in a deep, shady lake. Clear and cool water reached up to his neck, promising relief from his burning thirst. However, every time Tantalus, consumed by thirst, bent down to drink, the water mysteriously receded, leaving the lake bed dry and Tantalus with his throat still burning. Above his head, branches laden with delicious fruits, golden apples, juicy figs, sweet pomegranates swayed in the wind. These fruits, so close yet far away, represented a constant temptation. But like water, they soared out of reach every time Tantalus, driven by hunger, tried to take them. The branches would rise, carrying the fruits skyward, leaving him empty-handed and his stomach twisting with hunger. Tantalus' punishment was both physical and psychological torture. He was surrounded by what he desired most but could never attain it. His punishment was a demonstration of the god's wrath and a warning to other mortals about the consequences of defying the divine order. Each day in Tartarus was a repetition of the previous one for Tantalus, an endless cycle of unsatisfied thirst and hunger. His figure, once respected and favored by the gods, now writhed in unceasing torment, punished by his hubris and deceit. Resurrected and restored, Pelops married Hippodamia after a famous chariot race, where he overcame Hippodamia's father thanks to his cunning. This event marked the beginning of his influence on Greek mythology. As king, Pelops was revered, and his lineage spread through his sons, especially Atreus and Niastus. Atreus and Niastus became entangled in a complex web of rivalry and revenge, marking their offspring with a dark curse. From Atreus came Agamemnon and Menelaus, critical figures in the narrative of the Trojan War. Agamemnon, commander of the Achaeans, and Menelaus, king of Sparta, were crucial in the fight against Troy, an era-defining conflict. Meanwhile, Niastus, through his son Aegisthus, also left a mark on Greek history. Aegisthus played a crucial role in the saga of the House of Atreus, particularly in the story of Orestes, the son of Agamemnon, bringing the curse of Tantalus to a new generation.